Our next little problem here, given cosecant theta is negative square root 29 over 2, that's a wonderful number, tangent theta is less than 0, and then we're asked to find the values of the other 5 functions. So I have all the functions lined up here. I actually have cosecant already done, just to make it look nice, I suppose, but we're asked to find the other 5, all right? And the key for this and any problem of this variety is we need to know what quadrant are we in. What quadrant are we in? And to know that, all we need is our little memory device. And so all the functions are positive in quadrant 1. Sine and hence cosecant. Remember, sine and cosecant always agree. Positive in quadrant 2. Tangent and cotangent, quadrant 3. Cosine and hence secant, quadrant 4. So what do we have? We're given that cosecant is negative. The number doesn't really matter. It's just where is cosecant? Cosecant always agrees with sine as far as the positive negative. So cosecant's negative, right? That means sine has got to be negative, right? Well, what quadrants is sine a negative value? Well, sine is negative. Let's see if we can represent this way. Sine will be a negative in one of these 2 quadrants. So we know, with this piece of information, we know it's got to be in either quadrant 3 or quadrant 4. But we also know that tangent is less than 0. Tangent is negative. Well, tangent is positive in 1 and 3. Therefore, tangent must be negative. Tangent must be negative in 2, 4. And so we want both of those to take effect. What is the only quadrant where both of those take effect? It's where they intersect. We're in quadrant 4. So that's the procedure. Identify the quadrant. The rest of this falls in pretty straightforwardly. I'm going to see if I can draw a picture here. We know we're in quadrant 4. So just make conceptually a picture. The specific accuracy doesn't need to be there. Just a rough scheduled picture here. Now, we know cosecant is negative square root 29 over 2. The question is, remember, we know that a over b, we know negative a over b, a over negative b, and negative of the entire, we know those 3 are all equal. The question is, which of those do we have here? Which of these corresponds to which of these? Well, we know cosecant. We know the x, y, r definition. Everything needs to come into play here. Everything comes into play. We know cosecant, right? Cosecant is r over, right? R over y. Yeah, r over y. And we know one of them, either the top or the bottom, or the one out front, but not both. Either the top or the bottom is negative, but not both. Well, r cannot be negative. R cannot be negative. R is bigger than 0. So the question is, where does the negative sign go? The negative sign goes with the 2. Y must be negative because R cannot be. The only place this negative sign can reside is with the Y. It cannot reside with the R. The only place this negative sign can reside is with the Y. The negative cannot reside with the R. So the Y value, the negative must go with the Y value. The negative must be the 2, not the radical 29. The negative must be the 2. So the Y value, what we have here, we know that in our picture, negative square root 29 over 2, the negative must go with the 2. All right? So that's the Y value. There's the value for r, square root 29. The question is, what is the value for x? Well, Pythagoras tells you what that is. So, knowing Pythagoras as well as we do, we know that x squared plus negative 2 squared is equal to, and here it comes into play, the square root of 29 squared. We should be able to solve that for x. X squared plus 4 is equal to 29. So x squared is equal to 25 rather. X squared is equal to 25. So x is positive or negative. Which is it, positive or negative 5? X is positive 5 because we're in quadrant 4. X is the positive value. All right? And then from that, we know the value for x, we know the value for r, we know the value for y. So we have x is equal to 5. We already have y is equal to negative 2. We already have r is equal to the square root of 29. And so filling in the values for these functions is child's play now, I hope. So sine, should we just fill this in very quickly? Sine is y over r. Sine is y over r. So that's negative 2/5. Cosine is x over r. X over r. Oh, I have the wrong r there, don't I? Sorry. Y over r. Sine y. Y is negative 2. R is square root 29. X over r, that's 5 over square root 29. Tangent is y over x, negative 2 over 5. Once we have these, just form the reciprocals. We're given that. Reciprocal here, and reciprocal here, and we're out.